okay? Hey, y'all. Hope y'all having a good day. Hey. We're just telling people that we're about to go over 3 reasons why you're stuck. We're going to look at the word, and we're also going to look at some productivity hacks that you can try at home. You know, get your life back in order. The end of the year is here. Like, I don't know how many weeks away we are from 2023, but it's never too late to get started. So you can get your goals accomplished and you can start January off flaming hot like Cheetos, baby. But I hope you having a good day. I hope you are having a good day. If you're not, I hope these productivity hacks will be helpful to you. And then a little snack. So I'm going to start with Moses, okay? So I'm coming out of Exodus 3. And this is kind of what my heart has been meditating on these past couple of days. I'm going to just read it for you, okay? I'm going to just read it. So I'm coming from Christian Standard Bible. And it says, meanwhile, Moses was shepherding the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian. He led the flock to the far side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. Then the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire within a bush. As Moses looked, he saw that the bush was on fire, but was not consumed. So Moses thought, I must go over and look at this remarkable sight. Why isn't the bush burning up? When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called out to him from the bush, Moses, Moses. Here I am, he answered. Do not come closer, he said. Remove the sandals from your feet, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he continued, I am the God. All right, so just 3 things while you're stuck, okay? And when we think about on a spiritual aspect. So 3 things I want to point out here from Moses is that Moses was led out into the wilderness. Even though Moses was leading the flock out to the wilderness, Moses was led into the wilderness, okay? Regardless of what he was doing or what he thought he was doing, he was being led into the wilderness. So just pay attention now. Moses was being led into the wilderness, all right? The mountain of Horeb. This is the same place where God told him that you know that you have reached the place I wanted you to go. And that's why I said that was the thing I wanted to go back to. You know that this is the place where you're supposed to be when you come back on this mountain and you worship with me, okay? So he's led out into the wilderness, all right? And then the angel of the Lord appeared to him, okay? So the angel of the Lord appeared to Moses. So he was made known. He was visible to Moses, right? So sometimes God shows himself to us in movement, in things, and how he does things. And it's funny how my whole theme is moving mompreneurs and creators forward. And this is so important to me. All right. So the way that we move people forward is by listening to the voice of the Lord, because here we're going to see that the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame with the bush. All right. As Moses looked, he saw that the bush was on fire, but not consumed. So something happened to get Moses' attention. Okay. Something happened to get Moses' attention. Moses go, what's that? Like something slight to get his attention. All right. And it's not slight, but it's small in the sense of God's capability and God's power and how he can move in our lives. So the flame caught his attention. Listen, the flame caught his attention. And Moses thought to himself, I must go over and look at the remarkable sight. So God caught his attention, and Moses makes movement toward what has his attention. And what has his attention is something of God, right? So at this point, he is being drawn into God by movement, by something that God is doing in his life. All right, so he says, I must go look at this remarkable sight. Why isn't the bush burning up? When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him. So Moses had to take the step to get to God. Moses had to take the step to get to God for him to hear God, right? So a lot of times God will say things to us. He says it to us in our spirit over and over and over again until we will submit or we are transformed. So I think this is funny that this is the place that I am in, where I've been honestly, I've been stuck between Exodus 1, chapter 1 through chapter 3. And this is where not only how Moses kind of was called, or his life, his background, and how he kind of went into, sorry, just got distracted by a message. But the background of where Moses came from, and just how he was raised and all of that. But it's also catching my attention how God says to go. And when God says go, you say, where? Where am I going? And sometimes you got to take that step forward. And I have been very transparent about just going to therapy, being consistent in therapy. Sorry, y'all, looking at my son. Being consistent in therapy. And I think as an entrepreneur, as a mompreneur, as a creative, I think these are some of the stumbling blocks on why at times I can feel stuck. And I'm hoping that what I'm sharing with you is helpful. But we have to make movement. Sometimes we have to make the first step in order to God to move. We can keep asking God, help me in this area, but we need to make movement. We need to show God that we really want this. Yes, MJ? Huh? You poop? Oh. Okay. Go get a diaper. Can you go get a diaper? Here. Okay, so yeah, we gotta make, sorry y'all, my son, but we gotta make movement toward wherever God is calling us to. And for me, if you are an entrepreneur, these are some tips, productivity hacks that can help in your everyday, especially with the new year starting and us wanting to kind of go into the new year propelled and energized. I have 3 reasons why you might be feeling possibly stuck around this time of year. All right, so the first thing is to declutter, okay? You gotta declutter, and I swear, I literally decluttered my office and I start purging stuff out. I switched actually my office between my kids' room because the office I had previously was a lot bigger, but I said I kind of like my office being close to the playroom and all this stuff, so I can keep an eye on the kids if I'm doing any type of work in my office. Mama, yes, MJ. Okay. Yes, MJ telling me some stories. But yeah, so I switched my office, and I kind of even though I moved into the new office, I didn't necessarily unpack. So yesterday I actually decluttered. I threw things away. I went through things. I organized things. I actually cleared out some of the closet and put stuff inside of the closet, actually maximizing all this space that I had to myself. So 3 reasons why you might be feeling stuck. You might need to declutter. And decluttering is important because it is like therapy. I love, when I was teaching, I love teacher work day because it was a time for me to declutter my classroom, pray over my classroom, just organize things in my classroom, get my lesson plan back in order. So decluttering, it gives you space to open up your mind, to actually process your thoughts. If you are a person that thinks a lot, this is a great little activity for you to do. Just declutter and just start maybe in a main area. My office, I started in my office because that's a place of productivity for me. And I said, hey, I want to get my office clean. So I literally had to walk past all of my mom responsibilities, all of my wife responsibilities on the way to my office. But I kept it in my head no, I'm going to come into my office and I'm going to declutter. I'm going to decorate. And I can't wait for you guys to see what I did to my office. But I, kind of made some things happen, made some shifts, did some changes. So, yeah, so make sure that you are decluttering, because this is probably one reason why you might feel stuck. Decluttering, it gives you an opportunity for you to purge your thoughts, okay? If you are one of those people that are I have a hard time processing my emotions, then this is a great activity that it doesn't feel so sticky and so feelingy, okay? Also, another recommendation is to journal. Journal, like you are decluttering your mind. Write down what you're afraid about. Write down what you're frustrated about. Write down why you're, like, maybe it's a goal that you just can't seem to reach. Like, what is the hindrance? What are the stumbling blocks that are causing me to not move forward in obtaining this goal or reach this goal that I have? So decluttering, like, your actual physical space, and maybe if you have like a lot of rooms, if you don't have a lot of rooms, declutter your space. Declutter your space. Maybe start with one room if you have a lot of rooms, okay? Start with one room that you use as productivity. So yeah, declutter your space in your home, office, whatever, and declutter in your mind. So you want to declutter in your mind, okay? And these are 3 reasons. Again, these are 3 reasons why you are stuck, why you're not moving forward, okay? So we talked about decluttering, okay? And another tip about decluttering, make sure you can try this. This isn't like my thing. This is my husband's thing. Like, he loves doing this. He's like, let's just make a pile of all these things and let's just sort through them. And that is not me. Not when it comes to like decluttering or reorganizing. Like, I kind of like to do it as I go. And maybe, like, I don't know, maybe I need to try his way, but these are some options that you guys can try. So you can have like 4 bins. You can have a relocation bin, a donate bin, a sell bin, and a trash bin. So things that you plan on selling, okay? Get you some extra cash, all right? I've done this before, like going on Facebook Marketplace when we moved before, and I just said, hey, I don't want this stuff. Just come pick it up. Donate. Give me anything that you have. I don't care if it's $1. Just get this stuff out of my house, okay? All right, so then you have a trash pile, that group of things. Instead of you running back and forth to the trash can like me sometimes, make you a pile. And this is actually something I actually did yesterday when I was decluttering my office. I actually just kept a trash pile and said, this is going in the trash. I'm keeping this. I'm going to come back to this and look at this. So just make you an organization pile, okay? Sort things out. And if you're doing that, if you're decluttering your mind, sort things out by your emotions, okay? And that's fear. What are you afraid of, okay? What are you angry about? What are you excited about? What are you kind of like, yeah, like sad, whatever category you want to put it under. You want to maybe just start to sort out your thoughts, okay? Next thing for the reason why you might feel stuck. All right, let's talk about your night routine. So your night routine is super, super important. When I actually did time management coaching, it was recommended that I take out clothes the night before, my clothes. This is when I was working as a high school teacher, so I had to be at the school super, super early. Hey y'all. We're talking about 3 reasons why you're stuck, some productivity hacks for you to try at home. Hopefully they're helpful. And we're talking about Exodus 3 and Moses and going and moving at the response of God when he's revealing himself to us, and how when we make a step forward, then God speaks. All right, go to Exodus 3 if you're trying to figure out what I'm talking about, the first couple of verses, and it'll start to ding in your mind. But back to our productivity hacks. So make sure you have a night routine. So for me, it was recommended that I pick out all of the clothes at night. The week before, the day before, maybe a few days before, all of our clothes out the night before, and hang them up. So that way when you wake up in the morning, you're not trying to figure out where a sock is or where a shirt is or a match, right? I'm not gonna lie. I have to get back on my productivity, but this is why I'm sharing some hacks that I actually read in time management, all right? 20 minutes a day. So habits that can change your mindset, change your environment, change your perspective. Just taking 20 minutes out of the day to talk about this. All right, so these are hacks that I've written down and just said, hey, I want to share them with y'all. So make sure you have a night routine, okay? Make sure you're going over your schedule for the next day. So just take 15, 20 minutes to say, hey, what do I have on my calendar tomorrow? This is especially important if you are an entrepreneur or creative. If you're setting your own schedule, if you are a mompreneur, if you're setting your own schedule, this is important. Like, you absolutely have to figure out, what do I have to do tomorrow? What are some undone tasks that I have not taken care of the day before? All right, so you want to make sure you you're choosing your outfits the night before, or if you have like multiple people that you are managing in your household, then you might want to take your clothes out the week before. All right, so you have all of your clothes spread out. Maybe that Sunday you just take 20 minutes to pick out everyone's outfit, have them hung up in their closet or laid out on the couch. I normally either lay clothes on the couch or I lay them in my office, because my office is the most productive, clean space. So I know that if my kids leave something behind when they're getting dressed, we know exactly where to come, and it's easy to locate because there's not stuff all over the place. All right. So make sure that you are choosing your outfit the night before. And lastly, in your night routine, put things away. Where are you placing your keys at every day? Are you looking for your keys every morning when you're trying to walk out the door? And I'm laughing because my keys are something that I typically lose if I don't put them in a space or in the place that I remember that they are. I like to normally lay them out on the counter. If the kitchen cleaned the night before, just put them on the counter because that's an easy place to locate. As lately, I've been leaving them in my office because, again, that's like the most productive space that I have. And it's the most cleanest space that I have because it's my office. I don't got to share with nobody, and I ain't got to figure out who moved this over here and who moved that over there. So this is definitely a tip for mompreneurs. If you have a space, and for the longest time, my closet was my space. Like we did have like a his and her closet before when me and my husband were staying in an apartment. So my closet was like my space. Like I knew if I put something in there, I know exactly where it is because I don't have to worry about my husband going in there and moving things around. All right, so 3 reasons why you are stuck. What is your routine like? What is your system like? All right. Are you decluttering once a week? Are you decluttering quarterly? When are you decluttering? There is always a time of year. And if you've noticed, like around maybe like fallish, as it starts to tip into winter, you notice people start to do a lot of yard sales because this is the time of the year where people are decluttering. The smart people are decluttering and they're getting prepared. They're getting set for their new year. So 3 reasons why you're stuck. What is your routine? What is your system looking like? Declutter. Make sure you're decluttering. What is your night routine looking like? Are you putting miscellaneous items that are kind of like laying around? Are you putting them back? Are you putting your shoes in one place? Do you have a set place for your shoes to go when you take them off of your feet? Like, what are you doing in your night routine, okay, to prepare for the day before? And I remember when I first started, I ain't gonna say when I first started teaching, probably about a year into teaching, I went and worked for NC Pre-K for a while, and the lady, she was a small business owner, and the lady was like, she talked to me, she said, hey, the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I write out my list. So if you're not I'm gonna write my list out in the nighttime person, that's fine. Write your list out maybe in the morning, okay? I don't recommend this if you got a lot of little people running around, but maybe you put things back the night before. Maybe you load the dishwasher the night before, and then the next day you write out your list, okay? Because a lot of times that's normally when our thoughts, if you go through anxiety a lot, you are constantly thinking. You're like a hamster wheel in your mind. So maybe like just doing like a feelings dump or a mind dump. What is going on in your mind, and what are some tasks that you can reach? All right, and you might have to break it down. It's not just gonna happen overnight because I'm still working at this. Okay, productivity is a muscle that I am constantly trying to strengthen. How can I make the most out of my time? Okay, so make sure you're checking your night routine. Make sure you are constantly or consistently have a routine of decluttering. And lastly, what is your work routine like? Now, if you are an entrepreneur, mompreneur, creative, all of those things fall under the entrepreneur umbrella, okay? But I'm specifically called to mompreneurs and creatives. If you are one of those people, you're making your own schedule. Where is your workspace? Like, do you separate yourself? There was a season where I used to actually go to the coffee shop when I used to have like a babysitter when I was in school. Like this lady, she would actually keep my kids. At the time I only had 2. She would watch them while I would go off down the street to a coffee shop and worked on homework, all right? Or worked on business. Well, homework and business was the same for me because I was going to school for entrepreneurship. But where is your office space? And it's okay if your office space is at Starbucks. I love Starbucks. I have some of the greatest conversation with people at Starbucks because they're all creatives. They're all thinking like, how can I make an impact on the world? And I love having those conversations. It's an opportunity to network too. So make sure you are having a set office space. All right, nowadays there are co-working spaces now where you can rent a space for a few hours, and that office is yours until your time is allotted. All right, so make sure you have a separate workspace. If you do have extra room, okay, where you can have your own office space. Have your own office space. All right. If you have a corner in your bedroom that you can kind of put a desk there, and you can make it like a productivity corner, because also what you're doing is you're training your mind to say, hey, like, this is a place of productivity. This is a place where I'm working. Like, when I came in here, when I came into my office, like, I'm not gonna say magically, I just easily kind of transition into a work mode. Turned on the podcast, and while I was doing the podcast, I was reading. All right, my phone was actually like programming, and I was like irritated and frustrated that my phone wouldn't let me do anything on it. So I read a book and I listened to a podcast. All right, shout out to the Basement, y'all. Yes, I love the Basement podcast. Go listen to Tim Ross. It's amazing. It was definitely like a refiller, what I needed in the moment. So again, like, I easily transition into work mode because I was in a space that facilitates productivity. Now, you can't go sit on the couch with your laptop in your lap if you know that you are more prone to fall asleep or get off task. Like, for me, I know I cannot step outside of this room, because if I step outside this room, I'm going to see the dishes, I'm going to see the clothes that need to be folded, I'm going to see all these things that I can do while I'm alone and no one's here with me. I can do all these things. So no, absolutely not. I'm going to use this window for my work schedule. And you have to be consistent, and you have to be, have accountability. So maybe have accountability partner too as well. All right. So what is your work schedule looking like? And are you setting a schedule? All right. Look, I got a calendar. I like it, but I wish it was bigger. So I just kind of got it here for like decoration. But I actually have an electronic calendar where I actually built out my schedule and the things that I want to do when I wake up in the morning, like 15 minutes to work out. Like, I literally have a breakdown of my schedule. And it not only helps me, if you're a mompreneur who is married, it helps everyone in the household, because you know what's expected of you, right? So if you have a husband who's like, what are we doing? What do I got to do? If you have this schedule set up, I have it next to my refrigerator. I had to refresh it. But when I was working, it was very beneficial, because most of the time my husband can kind of jump in when he would get home from work. And he's like, instead of saying, what do you need help with? And that would irritate me to the max, all right? Instead of him saying, what do you need help with? He easily can kind of go and see, all right, have you done this yet? All right, okay, I'm going to go over there and do that. So it's a system that works for everybody, okay? So make sure you have your work schedule, okay? So my work schedule, it kind of coexists with my home life schedule, because I am a mompreneur. So it's like the grind doesn't stop, because it don't, okay? But 3 reasons why you are stuck, all right, is you want to check decluttering what is up here, okay? Not only what's around here in your environment, but what's up here. Declutter. All right, what is your night routine looking like? Are you spending time for yourself? Like, I remember there was a season where I would actually just take it was a lot of time, like an hour while everyone was in the bed. I would be creating content, working on, at the time, like Activate July, working on the itinerary schedule, sending out emails, knowing, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I know these people are in the bed, but I'm holding myself accountable by sending out these emails and making sure that they have all the information that they need from me so that we can do Activate July, okay? Shameless plug, make sure you go to my YouTube page, Just B.Spriggs. I have some Activate July content out there from 2021 and 2022. This past, 22. All right, so make sure you go watch some of my stuff. I'm definitely editing, okay, still editing some stuff from 2023, but I do have 2 videos that are already out. And if you are feeling the content, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like my page. Hey, Martez, thank you for watching. Talking about some productivity hacks. Shout out to you and your new baby. Hit me up if you need any productivity hacks. I got you. Okay, because I got three of them things, so I already know, girl, and I breastfed all of them, so I already know. But shout out to y'all who are watching. We're talking about reasons why you feel stuck. and I'm going to close out. Before I close out, I'm going to talk about the 3 hacks one more time on how to be productive, okay? So the main thing is you want to make sure you are decluttering, get your thoughts together. Not only your thoughts, you're getting your environment together. You want to pay attention to your night routine. What consists of your night routine? Are you putting things back? Are you loading the dishwasher? Are you getting your clothes out the night before? Are you packing your lunch? What are you doing to kind of help you not feel like you want to scream and fight everybody when you're in the car because you're just frustrated because you didn't prep your day? Okay? Yes. Hit me up though, for real though. I got you. So yeah, like, make sure you guys are paying attention to your night routine. And then just some hacks for my mompreneurs out here, because I'm talking to the creators and mompreneurs. Some tips. What I would do is, especially like breastfeeding, I would like pump the night. Like I would pump like 15 minutes after I would feed. And sometimes I wasn't making a lot of milk. By kid number 2, I was not making a lot of milk. But I would pump 15 minutes after feeding. I would definitely pump like as soon as I wake up. It's like going to the bathroom. You are the most fullest in the morning. Pump in the morning, like as soon as you wake up, before your kid can even smell you. It used to be so bad for some of my kids. I had to go into a separate room and pump, close the door so they couldn't smell my milk, because sometimes my kids would smell my milk and wake up and I'll be so mad. But just try to get in the habit of, even when you're not doing anything, pump. Like if you're full, pump, freeze. And what I would do is if you were producing a lot of milk, I would pump, and then one boob would go in the refrigerator and the other boob would go into the freezer. So that way I was building up my stash, and I was also kind of like, if I needed like an hour to get away, go grocery shopping, and my husband was at the house, like boom, there it is. You got the milk. You can go. Now, kid number 1, I wasn't leaving like that, but by 2, yes, I was out of here. Okay. So yeah, and even if you're having a hard time like with getting your milk out, because my second child would not take bottles, would not take anything. Okay, she just wanted me, nothing, no pacifier, no nothing. You gotta like learn those sleep hours, and in those sleep hours get a bulk of your work done, or try to nap, try to get your rest. And it's important to rest, because that's when you produce the most milk. Wake up from a nap and full, okay? But that was a little hack for my mompreneurs. But again, what is your night routine looking like? Are you decluttering? And what does your work area look like? Do you have a set aside area where you're focusing on your work? Now, closing out, y'all. Going back to Moses 3. Make sure you read verses 1 through 3. And I'm going to tell you what I got from it. Okay, so the thing was, Moses was led out into the wilderness. All right. There was a move of God that happened because there was a flame of fire that appeared in the bush that caused him to draw near. Okay, so this is really God just showing himself in your life. He's showing himself in your life. Okay, God is showing up in your life. He's revealing himself in your life, and he's a gentleman. He's not going to say, get your tail over here. Okay, some of our mamas and daddies did it to us, but God is not like that. Okay, now God will pop us when we get out of line, but he's not going to force us to do anything. Okay, he's not going to force us to do anything. So as Moses was led out into the wilderness, he saw flame, which was the move of God. And because Moses took a step forward, because Moses said in verse 3, I must go over and look at this remarkable sight. Remember, a move of God happened, a miracle happened, something that caught his attention and said, who is this? What is going on? Where is this coming from? Right? Moses drew near into God, right? Because he said, I must go look at this. And then when Moses took that step forward, that's when God spoke, right? So this is for me, this is for you, an encouragement hour, wisdom hour, where we just have to make a step forward, okay? And it might be in small, practical, like, tactics. Just me clearing out my office space. Now I have a space where I feel most productive, okay? And because there's a lot going on in my world, it's so easy to not like pay attention to the things that I need as a lifeline to help me thrive, right? So just make sure you're making a movement. And I feel like because I made that movement, I had a whole hour where I was able to focus on God's word, not only get poured into like through the spirit, shout out Tim Ross, the basement, not just that, but also reading about time management, 20 minutes to help your day. Okay, So if you kind of want all the hacks to yourself, go ahead and cop this book, okay? It was $15, but I'm pretty sure I got it on sale because I don't think I would pay $15 for this book. But yeah, all right, this is just some easy time management. And it's not to say you read the whole book and you say, okay, I'm gonna do all this stuff. You have to do what works for you, okay? So make sure you're doing what works for you and just move and go. Whatever, sometimes you're not gonna have the full picture. And I swear that's my life. My life is put your big toe in the water and see, I'm gonna take care of the rest. I swear that's my life. And I still like fall apart, get upset, get frustrated. Like, this is not God's regular thing with me, but it is. That's his thing. And I'll be over here like, this is ghetto. This is ghetto. But we have to know our part and how we play a part in our prevention of moving forward. And I'm going to give you a tip from a therapist who was my time management coach, but she was really my therapist, y'all. She was my therapist for a season. She told me, like, you have to keep a routine. If you just stick with the routine, then on the days where you're feeling depressed, when you're feeling anxious, it's not going to be as weighty because you know how to propel through it. You know how to power move through it, right? Like, cry, get it out. Like, I swear, like, I was in the car like, wham, boo-hoo, wham, this is ghetto. I'm tired of this guy. Like, what you doing? Like, I had this high moment where Tim Ross shouted me out, y'all. And then it was like, but I want to apply myself for getting to day 3 and having a moment, okay? Well, actually, day 4 and 5, because it was on a Saturday. Day 5 to having, like, a moment, okay? But invite God in those feelings, okay? And a lot of times we're not moving forward because we're not allowing God to deal with us in a place in our heart and being vulnerable and being transparent. So make sure you're being transparent with God. Tell him what's going on and keep asking. Keep asking. Like, I was reminded of that when I went to a small group. Shout out to Bethel, a church, a leadership church, all right? They are called to leaders and they strengthen leaders. And I was reminded of how persistence in prayer does a work in our hearts, right? It transforms our hearts. So make sure you are going, do what you can, and to move forward as an entrepreneur, as a mompreneur, as a creative. I thrive in the best spaces when I am creating something, right? If I'm creating something, okay, that's when I thrive the most, and I feel like I flourish is when I'm creating. So even if it's like you're not intentionally trying to put some content out there, make sure you're just doing something that makes you happy. Dance makes me happy. It's time for me to move my feet. I feel like I haven't moved my feet in like a few weeks. So it's time to start moving my feet again. Sometimes it's not about what you can get from it. It's about what can help, get your body flowing, all right? And we all know exercising is like the #1 thing to do, okay? But this is why you're feeling stuck. Move forward, okay? It doesn't matter if you're journaling. It doesn't matter if your goal is to journal for 5 days and you only did 1. Applaud yourself, okay? Because you moving, you making steps forward. And sometimes we just have to let God lead us and move us into the place, and he will speak once we get there. We just have to get in alignment with what he wants us to do, what he wants us to say, and how he wants us to be. Okay? But thank you guys for watching. Hopefully it helped. Let me know. Comment in the comment box. Let me know what was helpful. Okay? Let me know what tips you plan on actually applying to your life, okay? Share this on your page. Maybe you need to help another mompreneur or creative. And even though I am targeting mompreneurs and creatives, it's not just limited to those type of people, okay? Because you could be a stay-at-home mom. There was a whole season in my life when I was a stay-at-home mom and nothing else, okay? I was trying, but that was it. But that's why now I say I am a mompreneur, okay? Because that's not me. I'm going to be traveling with my kids, and I'm going to have a nanny every now and then when I need a break, okay? But for real, make sure you guys comment under the box, suggest, what content, like if you like more of this productivity hack stuff, let me know in the comment too. Like, say I loved it so that I can keep, doing research for y'all and getting y'all more information, okay? Because we out here together, okay? If you need a support group, if you think like a support group might be helpful in this hour for you as a mompreneur or creative, comment. I might put together some type of support group. But that's all I got for y'all today. Remember Moses or Exodus chapter 3. All right. I suggest you read all of it. Okay. But the most important thing I was really focusing on was verses 1 through like 7, I think. All right. And it's all about taking a movement forward. And the way that we do that is sometimes in a practical way, which could just be as simple as what our productivity, what our system is, and what it's looking like, and adjusting to the new system. Okay? Yes. Okay, yes. Hit me up, Martez, for real, because yes. Look, we were supposed to band work together, so I'm excited. But yes, hopefully it was helpful, y'all. Share, like, go to my YouTube page at Just B.Spriggs, all across the platform. Just B.Spriggs. It's just_B.Spriggs. All right, Just B.Spriggs. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, and follow me on YouTube. Okay, subscribe, shout me out. Hope you have a great Wednesday, and I hope that if it's not productive, that these tips might be helpful for you. See you later. Bye.